Yesterday, in celebration of their 10th birthday, the EFF tweeted a quote from the Communist Manifesto. "Let the ruling classes tremble at a communistic revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win." As I thought about the ideology of the EFF, I wondered how many of their leaders have read the Communist Manifesto, or Marx's other works, like Das Kapital. It's one thing to Google a quote from Marx. But it's entirely different from reading his work and still thinking it's a good idea. And I wonder how many EFF supporters have read Marx or understand the ideology of Marxism. If you ask a random EFF voter to explain the theory of surplus value, could they? Could an EFF voter explain the difference between socialism and communism? Or define conflict theory? If you don't know and understand the works of Marx, how can you vote for a Marxist party? Like all Marxist leaders before them, the EFF spout slogans and rhetoric that sound good to the people they want to manipulate. They make promises about making everyone equally prosperous and taking away from the rich to give to the poor, but Marxism never helped the poor. The primary claim in the Communist Manifesto is that capitalism would self-destruct and be replaced by socialism and, eventually, communism. It was written in 1848, and in the 175 years since, no society has achieved the goal of Marx's communist utopia. Instead, all nations that adopted Marxism were destroyed in the process by socialism. The Communist Manifesto led to hundreds of millions of deaths in the last century, and was particularly devastating in Africa. Economics professor David Prychitko wrote, "Socialist revolutions, to be sure, have occurred throughout the world, but never where Marx's theory had predicted in the most advanced capitalist countries. On the contrary, socialism was forced on poor, so-called third world countries. And those revolutions unwittingly condemned the masses to systemic poverty and political dictatorship. In practice, socialism absolutely failed to create the non-alienated, self-managed, and fully planned society. It failed to emancipate the masses and instead crushed them with statism, domination, and the terrifying abuse of state power. But Marxists do not deal in the realm of facts, which is evident in the EFF's rhetoric. Let's look at this tweet. We are going to take charge of our lives like the Zimbabweans have done because they were ready to take the pain. Revolution is pain. Every Marxist revolution has resulted in pain, the EFF got that part right. But never has Marxism given people control of their lives. The purpose of socialism is to take power away from the individual and give it to the state. As I read this tweet, I wondered how in charge of their lives the thousands of Zimbabweans who cross our border each day in the hope of survival feel? Suppose you think Zimbabweans have taken charge of their lives. In that case, you must live in an alternate universe or a state of complete delusion. The fact that the EFF thinks Zimbabwe is a good template for South Africa to replicate should tell us everything we need to know about them. They don't care about South Africans or the future of South Africa. History has shown that Marxists are only concerned with power, and they will sacrifice the lives of their people and burn their country to the ground to be crowned king of the ashes. If you want to understand Marxism and its impact on modern society, please read our sponsor's book, The Ministry of Truth, by Ethan Quinn. This book explains how identity politics is used to manipulate society. Please support this channel by liking and subscribing.